Hi and welcome back to my channel. My portfolio is now sitting at about $11,500, and the huge news for this week is that just last night President Donald Trump tested positive for the coronavirus. We'll get into what that means for the stock market, what the implications could be, and this really could be huge. But first we'll see my portfolio movement over the last week and really over the last couple months. So on the day, down about $106 or just under 1%, which isn't good but is not the end of the world. Over the past week, I am now up about 4.5% or about $500. Over the past month, up $360 or 3.3%. Over the past 3 months, up 28% or $2,500. On the year, up just over $3,000 now or 36%, and all-time up $2,861.12 or 33.27%. I am teetering on $3,000 in gains, which would be a new all-time high, which is awesome. I did make a few new purchases over the past week. My portfolio balance is $8,600 is what I put in, and that was an additional $150 put in last week. With that $150, I purchased one share of Realty Income, or O, at $60.05. I purchased one more share of AT&T, or T, at $28.06. And of course, I purchased $50 worth of Bitcoin, or 0.00466 Bitcoin. My new position there is 0.2433 Bitcoin, and we will talk about that some more later in the video. But now we're going to get to the implications of President Donald Trump testing positive for the coronavirus. Here we have an article from the Associated Press talking about why this is such a big deal and what it could mean. Trump has COVID-19, and he and First Lady show mild symptoms. So here it says, the White House said Friday President Donald Trump was suffering mild symptoms, and the virus has killed more than 205,000 Americans up to this point. The revelation came in a Trump tweet about 1 a.m. after he'd returned from an afternoon political fundraiser without telling the crowd he'd been exposed to an aide with a disease that's infected millions. First Lady Melania Trump also tested positive, and several others in the White House have too, prompting concerns that the White House or even Trump himself might have spread the virus further. The youngest son, Barron, who lives at the White House, tested negative. Trump spent most of the year downplaying the threat of virus, rarely wearing protective masks and urging states and cities to reopen. Again, this is just going into sort of the background, but here we can get into what this really means. Trump's diagnosis was sure to have a destabilizing effect in Washington and around the world, raising questions about how far the virus has spread throughout the highest levels of the U.S. government. Hours before Trump announced he'd contracted the virus, the White House said a top aide who had traveled with him during the week had tested positive. So here we can see the tweet. Donald Trump said, "Tonight, Flotus and I tested positive for COVID-19. We'll begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together." White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows on Friday tried to assure the public that Trump was conducting business as usual, even as he confirmed the White House knew Hope Hicks, the aide, had tested positive before Trump attended a Thursday fundraiser in New Jersey. Trump's re-election campaign said it was putting a hold on all events featuring him and members of his family, but that Mike Pence would resume campaigning since he tested negative. Trump was last seen by reporters returning to the White House on Thursday evening and did not appear ill. The interesting thing here, of course, is that he's 74 years old and obese, putting him at higher risk of serious complications. Very big news. So this is just going more into really the specifics of it. But we don't know how the stock market's going to react, so we can look at my stocks individually and see, but hopefully he's able to stay healthy, and the stock market shouldn't move up and down a whole lot because of this, but we just don't know for sure. And before we continue, I'd like to remind you to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below what you want to see next. It makes a huge difference. And the first stock we'll talk about today is Vivint Solar, of course, the largest stock in my portfolio and by far the best performer. Total return is now up almost $1,800, up 520.14%. Over the past week, we can see up 12% even with that large decline today. Peaked here at about $45 a share, which is absurd considering my average cost is only $6.74. Over the past month, up 45%, which of course is wonderful to see. Over the past 3 months, when we zoom out, up 292%. Over the past year, up 560%, and at the 5-year clip, up 260%. This is a position that I just don't know what to do with. It continues to make money despite a lot of reasons that it shouldn't, particularly that they're not really making money. Their earnings were just about even for that last quarter. And of course, with the merger with Sunrun at the end of the year, I'm just not sure. I think the plan at this point is probably to stay put with the position that I currently have. Next is Penn National Gaming, trading at $73.39. I've talked about this one quite a bit in the past. My total return now is up $436 or 146%. There's a lot to like about Penn National Gaming, and of course a couple weeks ago I had that article where they talked about Penn perhaps reaching a price somewhere around $300 a share if things go well. Still a high buy rating. I will probably continue to expand and purchase some more shares, but with this higher price it's a little bit tougher than it was a couple months ago. If we zoom out to the month, we can see up 30%, 3 months up 138%, over the past year up 305%, and 5 years up 334%. Let me know what you think about this holding. It's an interesting one, but of course I love Penn National Gaming and I love Barstool Sports, so I love this holding. Here we have VTI, or my Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. I am looking at purchasing another share of this very, very soon. Total returns up $79 or about 13%. This, of course, is going to track the entire stock market. Has a dividend yield of about 1.5% right now, so definitely a good stock for me. Over the past week, up 1%. Over the past month, down 5%. 3 months, up 6.5%. Over the past year, up 15.5%. And over the past 5 years, up 72.7%. And of course, with that decent dividend yield, it's actually quite a bit higher than that 73% over the past 5 years. A position that has struggled mightily in my portfolio is AT&T. I'm planning on making a video in the future talking about why I think this is still a very good value for people looking to purchase stocks. Total returns down about $38 or 12.5%. Of course, AT&T has a very strong dividend. If we look here, the dividend yield right now is still over 7%, and AT&T is going to continue to expand that dividend every year. So on the day, it is up. Over the past week, it's up a little bit. Over the past month, down 4%. 3 months, down about 6%. Over the past year, down 23%, and 5 years, down about 11%. If you'd like to hear more about AT&T, definitely comment down below, and I can make that video happen. Last stock for today will be Pfizer, trading at $36.48. My total return is now down about $16.50 or 10.2%. This one is interesting because, of course, Pfizer is working on one of the vaccines for COVID-19. So depending on how that pans out, this could be a great pick. It's a very small holding in my portfolio. I only have 4 shares, but definitely something that I'm willing to either sell or increase my purchasing in, depending on how things play out. So over the past week, up about 1%. Over the past month, down 2%. 3 months, up about 5%. Over the past year, only up about 4%. And at the 5-year clip, only up 15%. Dividend yield here is about 4%, which is good to see, but certainly not as high as something like AT&T. So let me know what you think about Pfizer. And the last thing that we'll talk about today, just like every video that I put out, is Bitcoin, trading at just above $10,500 at the moment. My total return in Bitcoin is up about $218 at the moment, or just under 10%. I am down on the day, and Bitcoin has struggled as of recent. So over the past week, down about 1.5%. Over the past month, down about 8%. 3 months, up 14%. Over the past year, up 26%. And over the past 5 years, of course, up 4,300%. We can see that my total quantity is now 0.243 Bitcoin, which is great to see. It's down to about 22% of my portfolio. It was hovering around the 25% mark about a month ago. My average cost is still only about $96.40. And as I always like to point out, I will be continuing to purchase Bitcoin every single week. And the lower price right now actually means a better time to buy. So I think I'm going to stick to that plan. It is the largest holding in my portfolio. It's worth about $2,560 right now. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I'll be back with another one next week. Thanks.